Hello everyone and welcome to the JavaScript coding tutorial for the year-end grade 7 project here. There's two parts to this assignment. Part A is going to be something that I help you code step by step, and then part B is going to be something that you try to code on your own using the same sort of logic. So pay close attention to part A so that you'll understand how to do part B. In part A, we're going to try to answer that famous question of would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for a month, or would you rather take $1 million? So we're going to write a program that actually solves that for us, because obviously it might change a bit depending on how many days are in the month. So we're going to look at that. And also then after that in part B, I'm going to ask you to code your own working bank machine. So whether somebody wants to check their balance, make a deposit, make a withdrawal, you will be providing the code to allow somebody to do that. So here we go. We're going to start with part A, the penny a day doubling project. So we're going to go into Tinker and we're going to go under My Projects, and we're going to say to create a new project. On this, we're going to go to the JavaScript tab, and we're just going to make a completely blank JavaScript project. Once we have that loaded, you're going to notice that there's two main tabs. There's a main tab and there's an index.html. This is an HTML file that would actually work in a website. It would work on the internet. That's one of the nice things about JavaScript is that it plays very nicely with websites. In fact, you can design entire websites using JavaScript. So that's why it's one of the best languages to learn in the world. We're not going to need all of this stuff at the start. So I'm just going to, we don't need the title, for example. That would be if we wanted to put the title of the website in. But just for this demo, we're not going to need that. We're not going to need this. So go ahead and delete those as I go. The script we're going to need later on, so I'm actually just going to get rid of that for now. The heading I'm going to get rid of. So make sure you leave the HTML and make sure you leave the body command. Basically everything that you have is going to be within the body and the HTML. And I'm just going to move this down and I'm going to space this out a little bit. So go ahead and pause this now and just try to get your document set up so that it kind of looks like this, because this would be a good starting point for us. Okay, so we can see right now we've got a heading, My JavaScript Project. When we press play over here, it's going to show us what our project looks like so far. And here we go. I am going to replace this with something that would make sense for this project. So something like would you rather have a penny a day that doubles for a month, or $1 million? Okay, so go ahead and type in some kind of title like that that's going to make sense for the project. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can experiment with the different headings, for example. This is what the H stands for. It's a heading title, which is about this large on a website. You can see if I change this to a heading 2 instead and change this to a heading 2 and run the same thing, then it just looks a little bit smaller. So you can decide whether you like the heading 1 or heading 2. Notice that everything with JavaScript, especially on websites, HTML, has these kind of brackets, kind of the greater than less than brackets with the command that you're doing, so HTML. And notice we do \HTML to close it. So we have a body, and then we have \body to close it. And we have a heading, heading 2 in this case, and then a \heading 2 to close it. So that's kind of the general pattern that things take, which will help you as we start to write this stuff out. You might want some kind of picture now, and this would be to put in the background or put at the top of the page, just something to make the project more interesting. So we're going to go ahead and use those that less than bracket like that, and I'm going to teach you how to do an image tag to be able to put your own image in this. So it'd basically be image src equals, and then in brackets we're basically going to have the link to the picture. Okay, I don't know what the link to the picture is that we're going to use yet, so I'm just going to leave it like that. We do have to tell it what font style to use in its place. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick a font style from this. you can just copy the same style. And again, we put that in quotations. And then we have to choose a style as well. So our style is going to be equal to, and this is where we can say how big the picture is going to be in our program. So I'm going to say width colon px, and oops, sorry, width 200 px per pixels, and then a semicolon, and height will be colon 200, sorry, colon for both, not semicolon, px, and then semicolon again, and then close the bracket, and then go ahead and close the entire code. So you can see that this is kind of the end of where this started over here. And this is just kind of like you have to provide some kind of style for the image. And now we can go ahead and find an image that will work for us. So for this, you can go ahead and search Google just for some kind of cash or pennies. You could search for some kind of image that's going to go ahead and give some kind of flavor to this project. Okay, so maybe I'll choose this because it actually has some pennies in it. Or you could choose something like 1 million, for example, if you wanted to. Let's try that. What does 1 million in cash look like? Let's see. All right, so you could go with something like this. Totally up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and choose this for the sake of the demo. Right click, and we're going to do copy image address. So I'm right clicking on the image, copy image address. And then if we go back to our program and we go, and we have to make sure that we're exactly in between those brackets. If I do Control V, there we go. If I do Control V, then that puts in that exact image there. So now at that point, if I want to, I can see what this looks like so far. And there we can see we have the title and we have the image so far. So we're well on our way to just kind of like getting this program going. All we've done in part 1 of this tutorial is set this up so that it has a chance to get going and capture somebody's interest. And now we'll get into how to actually execute the code a little bit. All right, so stay tuned for part 2. And don't forget to save your work by pressing save up here. You can see that's saved once it turns green. Thank you.